Well, meanwhile, the Kremlin is lashing out at the U.S. and our allies after President Biden gave Ukraine the go-ahead to fire the long-range missile that we've provided deep into Russia. The missiles are targeting Russian military sites that are used by Russia to savagely attack our ally Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin with this warning about the use of those missiles.
We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities. I recommend that the ruling elites of those countries that are hatching plans to use their military contingent against Russia seriously think about this.
Rebecca Koffler, strategic military intelligence analyst, former Defense Intelligence Agency official, joins us now. Rebecca, always good to see you. You know, many say President Biden should have given the green light to use these long-range missiles long before to push Putin back and help Ukraine. What do you think will happen now that Ukraine is using them and Putin retaliated, in a sense, by using this new hypersonic missile?
So we war-gamed this scenario, exactly this scenario back in the intelligence community. And we are right now on the escalation ladder, inching towards a nuclear war. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but the way that it happens, Eric, the Russians and the United States are de facto right now in a war. Why is that? It is because those attackers don't fire by themselves, even though Ukrainian soldier technically can push the button, but the targeting of the weapon systems, ensuring that there's a proper flight trajectory of the missile, that it destroys the right target, the actual battle damage achieved that we wanted to achieve, it all requires U.S. personnel and U.S. satellites. This is why the Russians have stated that the United States and European targets are now in crosshairs. And every war game that we conducted back in the intelligence community ended up in a nuclear war. There was an escalation ladder, and the Russians have mapped that out in the course of 20 years, and we're on it right now.
Well,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and today I want to dive into something that's got me worried, especially given the leadership or lack of leadership in our country right now. And guys, this isn't just politics as usual. You guys know this. This is a direct path to potential nuclear conflict. So here's the situation. Just recently, Biden authorized Ukraine to use U.S. supplied long-range missiles to hit targets inside of Russia. So we're no longer talking about defending Ukrainian borders. This is about striking Russia directly. That's a massive escalation, and one that could have consequences we're not ready for. And Putin, he didn't waste time responding. He made it crystal clear that any country supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles is a legitimate target. And that includes us. That includes us. Here's what's even scarier. Ukraine doesn't have the capability to use these advanced weapons on their own. It requires direct involvement from NATO and the U.S. military. So let's keep it real right here. This isn't just Ukraine fighting Russia. This is NATO with the U.S. at the helm, essentially bombing Russia. Now, let me ask you this. Are we really prepared for what happens next? Because once Putin feels cornered, what do you think he's going to do? He's already shown he's not bluffing. Russia recently deployed a ballistic missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads in a strike on Ukraine. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that really gets to me. What's the plan here? What's Biden's end game here? We've been pumping billions into Ukraine with no clear strategy for how this ends. Are we really trying to push Putin to the edge? Is that what we're really trying to do right now? Do we think he's just going to back down? History tells us that's not how this thing works. Even during the Cold War, when tensions were sky high, American and Soviet leaders at least understood the risk of nuclear war. They talked, they negotiated, they didn't cross certain lines. But now it's like Biden and his team, they don't even care. They're sleepwalking us into a potential global catastrophe. And it absolutely makes no sense. It's the craziest thing ever.
Ask you about something you've been involved with. You said that if the President of the United States had launched an attack on Iran without congressional approval, that would have been an impeachable offense. Do you want to review that comment you made? Well, how do you stand on that now?
Yes, I do. I want to stand by that comment I made. The reason I made the comment was as a warning. The reason I don't say those things lightly, Chris. You've known me for a long time. I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee for 17 years, or its ranking member. I teach separation of powers and constitutional law. This is something I know. So I got together and brought a group of constitutional scholars together to write a piece that I'm going to deliver to the whole United States Senate, pointing out the president has no constitutional authority to take this nation to war against a country of 70 million people unless we're attacked or unless there is proof that we are about to be attacked. And if he does, I would move to impeach him. The House obviously has to do that, but I would lead an effort to impeach him. The reason for my doing that, I don't say it lightly. I say it because they should understand that what they were threatening, what they were saying, what was adding up to be, what looked like to the rest of the world what we're about to do, would be the most disastrous thing that could be done at this moment in our history that I can think of.
This is unbelievable, man. I don't know. I mean, obviously you guys can see, the quality of that video. That's an older video right there. That's a video from 2007. Of then Senator Joe Biden basically saying that if a U.S. president is willing to go to war unless we're attacked, that president should be impeached. And yet, in 2024, here we are, basically, if not almost at war with Russia under Biden's presidency. This is flat out ridiculous. Congressional approval? As if that means anything to this presidency. But, some are saying that Biden's doing all of this because he knows Trump is coming back. And man, Trump can't get back in office soon enough. He just can't. January 20th. I mean, we're talking, what are we about 60 days or so, or a little less? But just think for a second. Putin is holding off on making this next big move because he'd rather negotiate with Trump, and Biden, he's trying to throw every wrench he can into the mix before he's out the door. So yeah, some think that he's trying to start, or some people do think that he's trying to start a war before the next administration comes in. And sure, it's possible. It's also possible that they have absolutely no idea what the heck is going on right now. Not Biden or Kamala, at least because honestly, I don't think Biden's in or has really been in control over the past few years. So the question is, who's in control right now? Like the Democrat Party essentially decided Biden's 2C now and unfit to run for president, but competent enough to escalate a conflict with a country that possesses nuclear weapons? Something's just not adding up. This just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know I'm not the only person seeing this. Even Joe Rogan himself is calling Biden out. We got to check let's listen to what Joe Rogan has to say here.
A good thing that we would like to avoid from a dying former president. Mm-hmm. It's the whole thing is nuts.
I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. Fuck you, man. Fuck you people. You fucking people are about to start World War III.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia fired a missile today.
I feel like
they fired an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever. It's the first time one of those has ever been used.
That's insanity.
It's fucking insanity because those intercontinental ballistic missiles can have nukes on them. This one didn't, but if it does, the whole world changes. And it changes because of the military-industrial complex, and it changes because of the money that's going to Ukraine, and it changes because the outgoing president or whoever the fuck is actually running the country has decided to do something fucking insane.
Yeah,
fucking insane. And we're all sitting there watching it, and people are cheering it on. CNN was saying, like, finally. See what their headline was about about Biden giving Zelensky the ability to use long-range missiles. U.S. made long-range. It's not like nobody knows where they came from. It's not like nobody knows we've been funding this. It's a proxy war. The whole thing is fucking insane. It's insane. Come to the negotiation table. Sit down. Work this out. Stop killing everybody. U.S. allows Ukraine to use long-range missiles. So what did they say? Someone had said that, like, CNN was saying that it was a good thing, which I think is how? How is the left gone so far crazy that they think it's a good thing to launch missiles?
Just
That's what's scary about life is like you don't want to pay attention to that shit. You just want to live your life. You want to just be carefree and have fun and do the thing that you're passionate about. And meanwhile, the world is burning. And
you
just
can't do
hoping
anything
doesn't
about it.
get
It's
to
like
you.
at that high level, it's like there's nothing.
Well, we can. We voted Trump in, and
Yeah,
his idea is to stop all this shit, and hopefully he can do that.
Yeah.
But, man, fuck. We got 60 more days until Trump gets in or whatever it is. How many days is it, Jamie? But who knows? Maybe once he gets in, they'll ramp it up. Who knows? Maybe they'll sabotage his administration. That's what's even more scary. People don't want him in power. And the people that are in power don't want to leave power, and they'll try every way they can to keep it. 60 days from today. All right.
On the news.
60 days.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. Just hope Putin understands what's going on as well, and Zelensky doesn't do anything stupid. But saying that Putin's terrified, God damn it.
It's like you're trying to like tug the tail of a fucking sleeping
Dragon.
Dragons.
Yeah. Also, Zelensky, can I get a drug test?
Joe Rogan is 1,000% on point here. He's 1,000% on point. This old man, or whoever's running the show right now, I mean, goodness gracious. Hey, God only knows who's actually running our country right now. They're playing with fire. Think back to the Cold War. As reckless as things got during that time frame, Vietnam, the domino theory nonsense, at least our leaders treated the threat of nuclear war with the seriousness it deserved. At least they did that much. The Soviet Union at the time was a much bigger threat back then, controlling half of Europe and openly pushing to spread communism worldwide. But even then, both sides talked. Reagan talked to Gorbachev, Nixon met with Brezhnev, and now that's all gone. Since this Russiagate foolishness, it's become taboo for American leaders to even sit down with Russian officials. And here's the thing. Russia wasn't always treated like this. Back in 2012, Obama mocked Romney for calling Russia our biggest threat. Hillary Clinton was all about her reset button with Moscow. Bush said he looked into Putin's eyes and saw a good man. So what the heck has changed? It couldn't have been Crimea or Ukraine. Maybe it was Syria. Maybe it was Syria. When Putin stepped in to stop the U.S. from overthrowing Assad, that's when the narrative flipped. He denied the American regime a regime change, and that's something our government doesn't take lightly. But anyway, yes, we're in dangerous territories right now, man. We are in dangerous territory right now. They know Trump's coming. They know he's going to try to end things, end the bloodshed, but put a stop to all this reckless spending. And these folks are frustrated. Another thing that kind of hit me earlier today, when I was, thinking about this particular topic and, thinking about everything that's going on right now, I think it's the situation to where the Democrats lost so bad, not just the White House, but the House, the Senate. I think it's a situation where they fear that they're going to be on the outs for quite some time if they can't find a way to throw a monkey wrench into Trump's administration. if they can escalate us into a situation like this, and this is something that hangs over the head of Trump's administration this time around, along with fighting, the influx of people that they have coming up here through our southern border, they're doing everything in their power to have something to complain about, and it's something that they can hang over this administration's head. So therefore, when 2028 comes around, they got something to complain about. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my theory, on this. What do you guys think about this?
Joe Rogan, I listened to your latest podcast. I'm sending you this video to let you know that I disagree. You talk about these American weapons being sent to you.
For those of you guys that don't know who this is Vladimir Klitschko, one of the Klitschko brothers. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was heavyweight champ for a while, for quite some time. I'm gonna start this thing over just so you guys can see it. But he is a Ukrainian. I don't know if you guys knew it or know it, but the current undisputed heavyweight champion of the world is a Ukrainian. Go figure. And let's check out. Let's see what I'm not sure exactly which Klitschko this is, but it's one of them.
Joe Rogan, I listened to your latest podcast. I'm sending you this video to let you know that I disagree. You talk about these American weapons being sent to Ukraine, which you believe will lead to the Third World War. So, let me tell you that you're repeating Russian propaganda. Putin's Russia is in trouble, so they want to scare you and people like you. His war was supposed to last 3 days. It has lasted 3 years, thanks to the heroism and sacrifice of us Ukrainians. So you're using the only weapon that Putin really intends to use, propaganda. And this weapon really weakens our democracies. Putin's Russia wants to destroy Ukraine quietly. They want America to stay quiet, not great, but quiet. A great America is not an America that abandons countries that defend freedom with their lives. In short, you see, I have quite a few points of difference. If you invite me on your podcast, we could discuss them like free men.
Interesting. So yeah, coming in saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't escalate a war with nuclear power, that's now considered Russian propaganda. Like, wherever you stand on this issue, and sure, Ukraine has the right to defend itself. I'm not saying that. I'm sure all of you guys on here today would agree with that. But we're talking nuclear weapons here. We're not just talking Ukraine. And if we were to, lose maybe hundreds, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of men. We're talking about Christian men being sent to the slaughter. And for what? No elections. Opposition party members unalived by the Zelensky regime, people opposed to the war kidnapped by militias and tortured, millions gone from Ukraine with no desire to ever go back. All we're saying is that maybe it shouldn't be this way. It just sounds too much like right to me, but what do I know? So let's talk about this report right here. This report is from the New York Times. According to them, U.S. and European officials have actually discussed giving Ukraine nuclear weapons. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before, but you heard what I said correctly. Nuclear weapons. That's what they've discussed. They've discussed giving Ukraine nuclear weapons. And the rationale behind it is to deter Russia. But here's the kicker. Even U.S. intelligence agencies are saying that speeding up weapons delivery won't change the course of the war. So why are they even considering such a move in the first place? Is it just about making it harder for Trump to come in and negotiate peace? I would assume that is the case. But what's even crazier is if our own intel agencies are like, yeah, all this money we've been sending, all these weapons, Yeah, about that. They're not actually changing anything. Biden's out here playing war games without a plan while Americans are struggling. Inflation is through the roof. Families are choosing between groceries and gas. People aren't buying new cars. They're holding on to their older cars and working on those things. And yet, we've sent over billions to Ukraine. And for what? To escalate a war that could lead to nuclear fallout and not even succeed in pushing Russia out? It's absolute insanity. But we got to talk a bit about the media's role in all this as well, because like with many other wars in the past, this one's no different. They've been a propaganda machine for every war we fought in the past 6 decades. Vietnam, Iraq, Libya, Syria. Every single one was sold to the public on lies. They're masters at whipping up initial support. Americans buy into it, wave their flags, and believe the war is just. But give it a few years, and most people look back and realize they were duped. It's happening right now with Ukraine. The same people who pushed the COVID hysteria transitioned to flying Ukrainian flags on Twitter.
It will be mass deportations. It will be millions of people in camps managed by the U.S. military. I expect it will be military raids in civilian areas to try to take on this extreme anti-immigrant agenda, which I think he means every word of. I think that it's the end of American participation in NATO in any meaningful sense. I think it's really, really bad news for Ukraine. I think ultimately it's bad news for Taiwan. I think that it is a big, big leap toward the multipolar world that Vladimir Putin has been dreaming of and preaching for a long time. And I think internally in the United States, they will start arresting their enemies and bringing bogus prosecutions and Justice Department civil lawsuits against everybody who disagrees with them. I think all of that's going to happen.
Oh, my God. You're anticipating the end of America as people know it.
I can't believe she gets on there with a straight face and says these types of things. Desperation is exactly what that is. Lies and propaganda. And for what? Because the media's grip is weakening. And it's not just the mainstream who's losing it. It's the entire establishment who can't use their propagandists in the media to shore up support for their endless wars based on half-truths and straight-out lies. People are tuning out of these, of these corporate outlets and tuning to independent voices like podcasters, YouTubers, and others who aren't afraid to call out the foolishness. They're not afraid to call out these folks' lies. That's why Trump's win is so important. He's exposed the rot in our media and dismantled their control over the narrative. And it's also important because unlike those allegedly in power now, he actually wants what's best for America. And what world? He actually wants what's best for America. In the world, maybe let's, try not to start a nuclear war over Ukraine. We don't want that either. Neither does Trump.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on that because that's a really important statement that you just made there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying, Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be. And they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO. When I sat down, I got them to put up hundreds of billions of.
Now, listen to the framing of that question. That didn't sound like journalism to me. It's a thinly veiled attempt to villainize Trump for wanting to prioritize peace. They twist the narrative to make it sound like advocating for the end of a war is somehow unpatriotic or weak. How is wanting people to stop dying controversial? How is that controversial? This is the same media that spent years glorifying endless wars, now clutching their pearls because someone wants to change the status quo. Trump was the first president in 80 years who didn't start a new war. That's a fact the media conveniently ignores. His stance is simple. Stop the killing. Let Ukraine rebuild, and let's work towards a real resolution. The war establishment hates this because it threatens their profits and power. For them, perpetual war is the goal. For Trump, peace is the goal. Under Biden, we're escalating at alarming rates, sending long-range missiles, spending billions, and pushing us closer to a conflict that none of us wants. Pushing us closer to a global conflict that none of us want. We all have children, grandchildren. We don't want any situation to where they have to enact, some type of draft or something along those lines. I'm not interested in it. We're not interested in it. You got to think about this, man. These Democrats, man, they tried to pass in the House. It didn't make it through, thank God, but they wanted to draft women. Think about that. They wanted to draft women. But, it makes sense because this is also the party that, believe that, the sexes are equal. And really and truly, I don't think they, have a full or real definition, for the term woman. So, I guess it's par for the course with them. But, them wanting to push this all while the Biden administration seems more focused on weakening Russia than protecting American interests and ensuring global stability. And it's not just reckless, it's dangerous. And the American people are paying for this with their tax dollars while the risk of nuclear conflict looms. But make no mistake about it. This isn't just a regional conflict anymore. The U.S. is sending weapons capable of striking deep into Russian territory. Putin has already warned that these types of escalations make suppliers legitimate targets. How much closer do we want to get to the edge? And, at the end of the day, it's not about left versus right, Democrats versus Republicans. It's about survival. It's about making the world safer, not more dangerous. Trump's call for peace should resonate with every American who's tired of the lies and the wars and the destruction. And by just taking a quick look at the results of this election, most people are in line with that. And that's a good thing, not just for us, but for the entire world. What do you guys think about this, man? What do you guys think about this escalation? I kind of want to open up the lines, man. If anybody wants to call in, if anybody has anything to say, I'm going to drop a link here. I'd love to hear from somebody, one or two of you guys. I'd say keep it PG, keep it professional, keep it peaceful. Link is in the chat if you would like to call in. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this particular situation. I know we have a lot of veterans that do watch the channel. We have a lot of people that did serve or have children or grandchildren that is currently serving. This situation directly affects them. Some of us have, kids in high school on their way out. Some of us have people that just lost or just graduated high school that are out that could be draft eligible. This is a serious situation here that I don't think a whole lot of people either know is happening across the country or is taking it seriously. But I'd like to hear from you guys. If not, I'll go ahead and wrap the show. I appreciate you guys, rocking with me today. I really, really do. Please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And this video, it was or is brought to you by our sponsor, Lear Capital. Let me be brutally honest with you all. Our American values and financial system are under attack right now. You need to act fast and learn alternative ways to invest. That's why I trust Lear Capital for buying gold and silver. In today's volatile economic and political climate, precious metals can protect your wealth. Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and more than 3 billion in trusted transactions. Here's what I recommend. Call Lear Capital today. 800-489-6450 or visit learrp.com to request their free gold and silver investor kit. You can take possession of your metals, store them, or even roll over an IRA or a 401k into a gold IRA with the same tax benefits. Plus, they're offering up to $15,000 in bonus gold for qualified purchases. Call today at 800-489-6450 or go to learrp.com for more information. All righty, welcome back. All right. Hey, Lynn, I appreciate your service. Thank you very much. Retired U.S. Navy. My son is currently in the Navy. Thank you, shipmate. Definitely appreciate you supporting the channel. I actually served in the Navy as well. Long time ago. Didn't retire. Did 5 years. But I enjoyed my time. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was definitely a long time ago at this point now that I've been out. But, my son, he represents me, in there, man. And I appreciate everybody that has served this nation. And it's just so unfortunate, man, what's going on. And, it's just really sad. I hope we don't have any real beef going on in the chat like that. I see the mods kicking. If there's anybody else that would like to be a mod on this channel, reach out to me via email. I will make it happen. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap. Shout out to TA Caskey. Shout out to Susanna65. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's see, did I miss anybody that I need to shout out? Hey, Monique Abram, how you doing today? I want to give you a quick shout. So the plan, Biden starts WW3, then leave Trump to handle the downfall. Absolutely. That seems like it. It seems like they're trying to sabotage with the hope that they can have this situation hang over this administration's head for the next 4 years to give them something to run on in 28. Because right now, the Democrat Party is in shambles. They are in shambles right now. So they're grasping for straws. So they're hoping that they can allow a wave of people to come up here right now at the end and get a conflict kicked off across the ocean. It seems like that's what they're trying to do. I do have a question for you guys, and I'm gonna leave it here. Oh, I got one more person to shout out. Ed Marr, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Always pulling up, always commenting in the comment section, man. I definitely appreciate you. Ed Marr says Biden doesn't care about us, and yeah, you may be 1,000% right there. You may be 1,000% right there. Appreciate you, Ed, man. Appreciate you supporting me, man. Thank you. All righty, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. Again, I appreciate everybody pulling up today, man. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Holiday is right around the corner. Shout out, man. Oh, we got somebody here. Operation Paperclip, man. Veteran Marine Corps, man. Semper Fi, man. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate your service. Thank you very much. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everybody enjoys the time off, if you have that time off, later in the week, and just the time just hanging out and spending time with family, man. I think this is this is, in my opinion, one of the better holidays because it just brings us together. No gift giving, man. It's just love, getting an opportunity to sit down, break bread, and fellowship, with friends and family, man. And that's what this thing is about. This election, it's really divided people, but I hope that this holiday brings more and more people back together. I hope that's what happens, this time frame, man. Don't listen to these crazy liberals out here saying don't talk to your family if they voted this, that, and the third. Shout out to UTA with the 4-day weekend. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys supporting me, man. Again, hey, consider joining the ARP family if you haven't done so. If you take the top tier, we do meet on Monday mornings. You'll get a chance to, just jump on a Zoom or something along those lines with me. And you get a chance to just chop it up with me for 30, 45 minutes or so, an hour, somewhere in that range. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. And you get a chance to just kind of meet and greet with me directly and a little more personal outside and off of the screen. So I think that's something that's pretty dope that we kicked off. And man, I'm looking forward to, meeting with some of you guys, man. So again, I appreciate you guys pulling up. I'm gonna catch up with you all next time. Stay safe out there, and peace. All right, T.A. Kowski, Susanna, you guys take care.